My name is Rydell Harrison. I'm the principal at Harrison Middle School in Greensboro, North Carolina. And prior to coming to Harrison, I was an elementary principal in Guilford County Schools for 2 years. I've been a middle school assistant principal and taught Use It K through 12. When I started my teaching career, it was before No Child Left Behind. I took some time off and did a graduate program, and when I came back, No Child Left Behind had been implemented. And so I've seen the changes before and after of this new level of accountability. I think that there are some really positive things to No Child Left Behind, which is the fact that it sheds light on some of our students who would have previously been not identified or wouldn't have shown up on the radar. So by really looking at other subgroups and digging down deeper, I feel like it gives a good perspective and make sure that as school leaders and as educators that we're focusing on all of our students. I think the negative side of No Child Left Behind is that with increased accountability comes sometimes some shady activities. And so the focus has moved away from true learning, teaching and learning, and it's easy to start looking at students just as test scores. And I say that at a time when I'm sitting here waiting for my test scores. But I think that I've tried to convey to this staff that I work with now and every staff that I've worked with previously that I really truly believe that kids are more than test scores. And so the high stakes testing at the end of the year is just an opportunity for us to see, did kids, how did they do acquiring the information that we wanted them to get for the year? But that's only part of it. That's only part of the curriculum. I think that there are a lot of other things that are connected to what we do every day, bigger life lessons that we want our kids to learn. I think that's the hard part about raising accountability for math and reading only, that it does not really focus on all of the other things and skills that people need to be successful. And so on the one hand, it set up this dynamic within the world of education that if you are at the highest level in math and reading, that serves as some kind of predictor for success in the future. And unfortunately, that's just not the case. As a school principal, I use some math, but my scores in 5th grade on a math test would not have been a good predictor of whether or not I would be a successful principal. And I think that while we raise accountability in one level, we have not raised the level of critique, and we haven't raised the level of how do we discuss these scores in a way that's responsible and doesn't sort and select our students or categorize them in negative ways or set up some kind of dynamic for them to be unsuccessful in their future because they think that they can't achieve. And I think that it's the downside of testing. So while I appreciate from a social justice standpoint the importance of making sure that students of color, that students from low socioeconomic status, students who are learning English where English is not their first language, that those are good things. Making sure that our students with disabilities are continuing to grow academically, and that we are putting a lot of attention into that, into those students. I think that's great, and that's what No Child Left Behind has given us. That's positive, but it's really created a lot of negative aspects that we work very hard as educators to undo. And so when you have a student who has reached the 8th grade and has never been successful on end of grade tests since 3rd grade, they're coming to you with a lot of baggage. And so now your job as the teacher is more than just teaching them the curriculum. You have to play counselor and social worker and undo all of those negative experiences, and then provide some kind of hope for them that you're going to be okay. We have to work really hard to help our students to understand that real life situations never are multiple choice answers, but so the skills that you really need to be a successful adult are all of the gray areas. And so how do you teach those skills when so much of our attention is focused on what you bubble? And so I think that's the downside.